7 years ago, a student came to me and asked me to invest in his company. He said, I'm working with 3 friends, and we're going to try to disrupt an industry by selling stuff online. And I said, okay, you guys spent the whole summer on this, right? No, we all took internships, just in case it doesn't work out.
The story
But you're going
development
to go in
feels
full-time once you graduate.
like ENTJ
Not
already.
exactly. We've all lined up backup jobs. 6 months go by. It's the day before the company launches, and there is still not a functioning website. You guys realize the entire company is a website. That's literally all it is. So I obviously declined to invest. And they ended up naming the company Warby Parker.
Even if he doesn't have to explain his feelings, you can feel it.
They sell glasses online. They were recently recognized as the world's most innovative company and valued at over $1 billion. And now, my wife handles our investments. Why was I so wrong? To find out, I've been studying people that I come to call originals. Originals are nonconformists, people who not only have new ideas, but take action to champion them. They're people who stand out and speak up. Originals drive creativity and change in the world. They're the people you want to bet on, and they look nothing like I expected. I want to show you today 3 things I've learned about recognizing originals and becoming a little bit more like them. So, the first reason that I passed on Warby Parker was they were really slow getting off the ground.
The slow mentioned here is an expression that TJ often uses.
The mind of a procrastinator. Well, I have a confession for you. I'm the opposite. I'm a precrastinator. Yes, that's an actual term. You know that panic you feel a few hours before a big deadline when you haven't done anything yet? I just feel that a few months ahead of time. So, this started early. When I was a kid, I took Nintendo games very seriously. I would wake up at 5 a.m., start playing, and not stop until I had mastered them. Eventually, it got so out of hand that a local newspaper came and did a story on the dark side of Nintendo, starring me.
Brother and I also stayed up all night until we broke the keyboard in the game.
Since then, I've traded hair for teeth. But this served me well in college, because I finished my senior thesis 4 months before the deadline. And I was proud of that. Until a few years ago, I had a student named Jihei who came to me and said, I have my most creative ideas when I'm procrastinating. And I was like, that's cute. Where are the 4 papers you owe me? No, she was one of our most creative students, and as an organizational psychologist, this is the kind of idea that I test. So I challenged her to get some data.
To be honest,
she goes
they thought
into a
we're
bunch of
always
companies.
lazy,
She has people to fill out surveys
jealous
about how often they procrastinate.
because the results were
Then
always
she gets their
good.
bosses to rate how creative and innovative they are. And sure enough, the precrastinators like me who rush in and do everything early are rated as less creative than people who procrastinate moderately.
I could actually instinctively tell that
So I want to know what happens to the chronic procrastinators. She's like, I don't know, they didn't fill out my survey. No, here are our results. You actually do see that the people who wait till the last minute are so busy goofing off that they don't have any new ideas. And on the flip side, the people who race in are in such a frenzy of anxiety that they don't have original thoughts either. There's a sweet spot where originals seem to live. Why is this? Maybe original people just have bad work habits. Maybe procrastinating does not cause creativity. To find out, we designed some experiments. We asked people to generate new business ideas, and then we how creative and useful they are, and some of them procrastinate right away. Others procrastinate by getting money in front of them. 5 minutes. And sure enough, among procrastinators are 16% more creative than the other groups. Now, it's impossible to talk about ideas, because if you think first before you know the task, there's no creative use. It's only told you to do this problem, and then you procrastinate. But that's the last thing in your mind, that you start thinking. Procrastination gives you time to consider divergent ideas, to think in nonlinear ways, to make unexpected leaps. So just as we were finishing these experiments, I was starting to write a book about originals. And I thought, this is the perfect time to teach myself to procrastinate while writing a chapter on procrastination. So I meta-procrastinated. And like any self-respecting precrastinator, I woke up early the next morning and I made a to-do list with steps on how to procrastinate. And then I worked diligently toward my goal of not making progress toward my goal. I started writing the procrastination chapter, and one day I was halfway through. I literally put it away in mid-sentence for months. It was agony. But when I came back to it, I had all sorts of new ideas. As Aaron Sorkin put it, you call it procrastinating, I call it thinking. And along the way, I discovered that a lot of great originals in history were procrastinators.
Just because they are different from you.
Take Leonardo da Vinci. He toiled on and off for 16 years on the Mona Lisa. He felt like a failure. He wrote as much in his journal. But some of the diversions he took in optics transformed the way that he modeled light and made him into a much better painter. What about Martin Luther King Jr.? The night before the biggest speech of his life, the March on Washington, he was up past 3 a.m.
Now,
rewriting it.
Charlotte's surroundings
He's sitting in
are
the
full
audience
of
waiting for his turn to
FPS.
go on stage.
Unlike
he
in the
is still
past when they
scribbling
were
notes
looked down
and
on as
crossing
timid
out
or
lines.
lazy. I know
When
their
he gets
true
on
charm.
stage, 11 minutes in, he leaves his prepared remarks to utter 4 words that changed the course of history. I have a dream. That was not in the script. By delaying the task of finalizing the speech until the very last minute,
However, I hope we
he
all know
left himself open
the
to the
strengths
widest
of
range of possible
mbti
ideas.
and
And
understand
because
each
the text
other's
wasn't
needs.
set in stone, he had freedom to improvise. Procrastinating is a vice when it comes to productivity, but it can be a virtue for creativity.